Hello students, so today we are going to learn what are loops in Java. So the loops, when we want to repeat some statement again and again, then we make use of a loop. So there are three types of loops in Java. First is for loop, second is while loop, and third is do while loop. So here what happens? For and while loop are entry control loop. Means if the condition is false in the beginning only, it will not execute the loop. Condition is test first. If it is true, then only the loop will execute. Then we have another loop, that is do while loop. In do while loop, what happens? First the statement will be executed at least once. Then it will check the condition. So what happens? That's why it is called exit control loop, because the condition is checked afterwards. And if the condition is false, at least the loop will be executed at least once. So I'll give you example of do while loop. So what happens in do while loop? First we write, suppose I'll give you first the example of for loop, how we relate with do while. For I is equals to 1, I is less than equal to 5, I plus plus. In for loop always we have three conditions, that is starting value, condition, final value, increment or decrement. Three statements are there. This is a syntax of for loop. Now, what we'll do, your for loop begins with open curly bracket. Suppose I have written system out println, I have written the short form sopln I and the loop close. So this is called body of the loop. So here we can put one statement or more than one statement between these curly bracket. This is called the body of the loop. So this loop now we converted into do while loop. See how. First we'll write int I is equals to 1, starting value of I. Then we'll write do. Then we open a curly bracket, body of the loop begins. And whatever the statements are there inside the body of the loop, that we'll write. Full form is system.out.println. I have written short form. When you'll execute the program, you have to write the full thing on computer. Now, first part of the for loop we have written before the loop. Body statement of the loop we have written inside the curly bracket. And now we are going to write increment or decrement. The third part will come here. That is I plus plus. Now, we'll close the loop, while close curly bracket, we'll write the condition while I is less than equal to 5 and semicolon. This is the only loop where we put a semicolon. Rest all loops we don't put any semicolon. So here how you can see we have breaked the three parts of for loop which were in one single line. First part initialization before the do, conditional part with while, semicolon, and increment and decrement just above while. So this is an example of do while loop. And what will be the output of this loop? It will print natural numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the example of do while loop, simple. And you have learned also how to convert for loop into do while loop. I hope I have answered all your queries.